So we were talking about the fusion, or Jim Vandehei is, of Silicon Valley and Washington.
Right.
We also mark today a separation. Today is Elon Musk's last official day in the White House. To mark the occasion, President Trump says he will hold what he is calling a press conference with the Tesla CEO in the Oval Office this afternoon. He posted about it on Truth Social, writing, quote, "This will be Elon's last day, but not really, because he will always be with us, helping all the way." This comes as Musk has criticized the president's sweeping domestic policy bill, telling CBS News the legislation will add to the national deficit, as you pointed out, Joe, and undermines the work his DOGE team is doing. Musk also appeared to distance himself from the White House when he spoke about the challenges he faces in expressing his opinions within the Trump administration.
You know, it's not like I agree with everything the administration does. So it's like I agree with much of what the administration does, but we have differences of opinion. The things that I don't entirely agree with. But it's difficult for me to bring that up in an interview because then it creates a bone of contention. So then I'm a little stuck in a bind where I'm like, well, I don't want to speak out against the administration, but I don't want to. I also don't want to take responsibility for everything the administration is doing.
John Lemire, I think you know this. I am a simple country lawyer. Oh. Early in 2003, I was on the back of a turnip truck, and I fell off of that turnip truck somewhere in Secaucus.
Bounced.
Had my knapsack, and I made my way to Secaucus, so I don't understand the complicated ways of Silicon Valley and Washington D.C., but I do understand that Elon Musk is desperately trying, as subtly as he can, but as clearly as he can, to separate himself from the work that he did over the past 4 or 5 months that savaged his reputation in the business world and has hurt Tesla. And you can see it there. Oh, I'm not going to get specific, but I don't agree with everything they're doing. Nod, nod, wink, wink.
Yeah, and what's he going to get instead? Because of that, he's going to get a news conference in the Oval Office where Donald Trump is going to make him grab with both arms a lot of what he did in the administration. That's what we're seeing here a little bit. I mean, now I'm told that Musk and Trump, there is personal fondness there. There has not been the falling out that so many people expected. The two men do get along. But you're right. Elon Musk, since going with Doge, first, he has been frustrated with he couldn't get as much done as he would like. Now, of course, we have plenty of critics who say, well, he went too fast. He broke a lot of things. He did a lot of damage to the federal government. He may have even hurt a lot of American voters with stripping services and certainly laid off a lot of federal workers. But he, and his telling, thought he could do more than what he did. So that's number one. But secondly, though frustrated there, he now sees the aftermath and the impact of what it's done on his businesses. And we've chronicled quite a bit on this show how Tesla has really taken a hit and how Musk's reputation has really taken a nosedive in a lot of quarters around the country and, frankly, planet right now, the way his companies have suffered in Europe and other places. So, yes, he is trying. He's trying to be subtle, but he is trying his best to separate himself. But that's just drawn some ire from the Trump people. Stephen Miller went after him on Twitter this week. Speaker Johnson's been critical. And I suspect today we will hear President Trump really try to lash Musk to everything they've been doing in D.C. over the last couple of months.
Well, and Jim, you have Elon saying, and I find it quite humorous, actually, this was a lot harder than I expected. This was like everybody was saying, people like you and me that have seen how hard it is to get things done in Washington over our 30 or so years on the Hill and across Washington together, knew it wasn't going to be easy. You know, there's the old expression and also that great book on the AOL Time Warner merger, fools rush in. Well, he rushed in and he found out very quickly it is extraordinarily difficult. And as one of his lieutenants said, and then got fired for saying it, hey, you know what? they're not all bad. Some of these people in Washington actually know what they're doing.
I mean, the bureaucracy is undefeated, for sure, and it defeated Musk in this task. That said, you got to understand Elon in that he takes the long view. And certainly in the short term, he didn't accomplish what he wanted to. But remember what his companies do, and remember his relationship with the president, and remember how much data they're able to suck up when they went into all these different agencies to better understand how the federal government works. And now watch, does he start to sell rockets, satellites, autonomous technology, all of the products that his 5 or 6 companies are producing? Does the government end up being a massive purchaser of it because of the expertise that he has, the inside knowledge that he now possesses, and the relationship with Trump that I think will endure? And that is when I think about the fusing. I think people aren't paying enough attention to how much Silicon Valley and Washington, that were really separate for most of our lifetimes, have really fused into one kind of superstructure. And it's very, very codependent. These big companies, it's not just Musk's companies, it's Microsoft, it's Google, it's OpenAI, it's Anthropic. All these big companies need the federal government to help them get more energy, more chips, more precious minerals, all the ingredients of creating artificial intelligence. And where the money is going to be made is moving us into space, moving us into satellites, moving us into these new energy categories, creating these massive technologies that could be worth literally trillions of dollars to the people that are building them. And so to me, that is like the thing that when you take the long view, you've got to keep your eye on that prize.